Hi, folks. This is Richard Ricky Garcia, and as part of our effort for the Skywriters Making a Difference campaign, I thought it'd be fun to reminisce, record, and share stories from our drum corps days. I'm joined with the legendary Mary Beth Searcy Price, who was involved with the Skywriters from 1974 to 1989. Let's talk a little bit about her astounding leadership skills that have served many Skywriters throughout the years, and I am witness to this as I saw this. And you know, I want you to talk a little bit about this, but before I do, before I let you talk, let me read to you what I wrote about you about a year ago. Uh, I'm going to quote. I am familiar with the obstacles women have when it comes to leadership. If a man is too commanding, he is seen as tough and demanding. If a woman is too commanding, she is seen as a bitch. Mary successfully avoided this obstacle with her assertive voice and body language. Her indirect communication spoke volumes. She wasn't ruthless, but her confidence communicated that she meant business and that she knew what she was doing. Her presence announced that she was someone meant to be respected. I have vivid memories of her giving individual instruction to other color guard members. She did it without reaction. There was no judgment, no condescension, and no anger. A consistent, calm, cool, and collected demeanor was her specialty, even if it wasn't on the inside. These are leadership skills I have always coveted, unquote. Yes, that is how I saw you as a 14, 15, 16-year-old in the early 80s. How did you get these skills at that age? I mean, you're still basically a teenager. You're a late teenager, but a teenager nevertheless. How?
Well, I think part of it was really good modeling, right? So I think about my mom, and she was a teacher, and she had 4 kids, and my dad was out on the road all the time. And she always saw the very positive in everything, right? So no matter how crappy the situation was, she would always say, things could be worse. Try to pick out the positive and capitalize on that, right? So then, of course, I have 3 brothers. I have a strong dad, 3 brothers, and again, modeling, right? So I joined Skywriters, and I have amazing instruction. And those instructors modeled just excellence, and they did it without spite. They did it without prejudice. They simply told you what needed to be done, and you corrected it. If you didn't correct it, they'd let you know you didn't correct it, right? So traveling along through the journey, and just my intrinsic side of me is like, I want to be someone like them. I want to help empower women, right? At that time, it was all women. And I said, I want to empower women. I want them to feel strong. I want them to feel like they're supported and that they can just do anything that they set their mind to. And so when I got to finally become a the head of the color guard inside of the color guard, so it was a big deal when you got to become at that level of color guard, right? And you look out for each person like they are they're your sister. And then once you get beyond that and you become an instructor, you want to treat each person with respect, and you want to know each one and have a relationship with them, and you want to get them to reach their potential, but you want to do it with persistence, and you want to be polite about it. But truth be told, Rich, there were times that you weren't so polite about something, right? Once you corrected someone over and over and over, you had to have a little bit of a different way to impart that knowledge on them.
course.
But I never wanted anyone to walk away from Skywriters saying she made me hate the activity. She made me leave this activity. That would never, ever sit right with me. And so in my mind, I wanted to take each individual, whether it was I'm sorry you didn't make it this time. We're going to have to cut you. Come back next year and try again. I wanted to make that cut without someone saying, that's it, I'm never going to try again. Or someone within a line saying, you've had a certain amount of weeks to get to a certain point and we're going to have to cut you. That is a hard place to be in, but it's a place that you have to be in order to have your group grow together, right? So when you think about through the years, the people that have gotten cut during auditions and the way that you have to tell them, it's not unlike in the corporate world or whatever, having to fire someone. But in this case, it's like, come back, try again. And by golly, they did. And I look at the number of kids who didn't make it their first time around, came back, tried again, and then went on to lead amazing groups, championship groups.
Yeah.
And I still follow that same mentality as a teacher in the classroom, because I think about their age. They're 11 when they come into 6th grade, they're 12 when they're leaving, and you have to have some hard conversations with some kids and try to pump them up without deflating them. And all of those years in Skywriters, I think about my instructors, that there was not one instructor that ever made me want to quit the activity. The only thing I thought about was, how can I be better? How can I improve myself on a daily basis? And what can I do? And did I always follow the exact menu they gave me? No. But guess what? That was to my own demise if I didn't. But when that shoe was on the other foot and I was the one given the directive, by golly, you want those kids to follow along. You want to see them grow. And some kids, you get the seed planted and you just pray that it gets watered and watered and watered and it's going to, bloom at some point. And we had a lot of kids blossom. Holy moly. It was incredible. But I think about that leadership part, and it started with my own mom and my own dad and the way they modeled, and my brothers that expected nothing less of me because I was a female. They're like, suck it up, buttercup. You're going to have things hit you in life that you can either shrink down or you can stand up and say, you know what, that's not going to work. And between my family and that great leadership skills that were imparted on me through the years of Skywriters, that has never left me. I mean, never left me. Every single day that I step into my classroom, I think about how I would want to be viewed at as if I was one of those kids. So they're here, right? And I'm a little taller than they are. I don't ever want a student or anyone thinking, they're talking down to me, right? We look at each other like this. And I want to empower them to grow, to become leaders themselves. Some will, some won't. But I'm thankful of all the people that poured into me. And I literally stand on their shoulders every day when I, lead my classes through things, or those years of leading kids through color guard, that I look at them now and like, look how far they've become, how far they've gone. And they're still, on the field, still instructing, still doing their thing, and the generations that they've impacted. So I appreciate the kind words, and every day I try to live up to those that came before me that taught me those skills as well.
Your leadership skills were truly remarkable, and consider they were remarkable because I didn't even work with you. In fact, I think I probably spoke less than 5 words to you the entire time I was in Skywriters. You were off in the color guard. I was off in the brass section. But I noticed I could see what was going on. I didn't necessarily understand it, but people respected you, and you didn't say much. You didn't have to, and that to me was what was so remarkable. You know, I remember that the article that I wrote about you in the virtual tour. You talked about, well, yeah, you talked about having impacted several lives.
Mhm.
That article in that entire virtual tour is the one that got the most comments and the most likes. So it was clear that you transcended several generations of Skywriters. So I'm not the only one who feels this way, and you saw that in the comments. I wasn't the only one who noticed, and to this day, it is. You talked about modeling. You were one of my models. So well done. And it makes perfect sense that your children are these incredible successes, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks again, Mary.
Absolutely. Mwah.